Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. And you join me as I'm just loading up the Defender before I take this short journey down the road to my local beach at Brean in North Somerset, where I'll be joined by Chris. We've got a lovely day today. It's quite muggy. There's very little wind. We've got a lovely tide. It's 8:30 high. It's 11-metre tide. But because of the lack of wind action and everything, I think we'll be trying to target some sole today. So I've got some size 4 hooks on there. We'll be using lug, which we'll dig off the beach. And I think the chances of a fish are really quite good. So we'll see you down there. Fingers crossed for some action. See you in a bit. So there's the bait. About half a dozen freshly dug lug, size 4s, pennelled. And it's about 3 hours before high, and about 30 yards in front of me are the peat ledges, and I'm just going to try and just gently drop one on or around them. So it's not a big cast. It's certainly a good idea now just to move the bait, otherwise it'll get stuck in that really soft mud out there. Haven't put the grips in. Walk it back to the rods, and the sun's come out and it's rather warm. A lovely evening ahead of us, and I'll probably fish a very slack line. I think Chris is going to as well, just to give any soul that fancies it plenty of time to take that bait. And get the other one baited up in a minute. Give it another 10-15 minutes and then put that out. So we're fishing at different distances. The tidal race in today, 11 metres, a good fast tide. There'll be plenty of tidal current out there even though there's no wind. Looks lovely, Chris, doesn't it? Perfect. Okay. And there we are, both rods are in the water. Lovely gentle tide will come creeping over the sand. And sort of just beyond where we've cast out, very, very muddy, and I say there's sort of peat ledges and seagrass. But as you come further up the beach, the sand gets progressively harder, and I reckon that the sole prefer it on the slightly muddier, softer sand. We tend to catch them in the first hour and a half or so of the flood. But there'll be bass out there as well. You've got Brean down in the background there, and then over there that's Steep Home Island, and beyond that Flat Home on the right, and then the Welsh coast. And then in the far distance there is the huge building work going on at Hinkley Nuclear Power Station. Yes, and for those of you who are thinking of fishing Brean, it's a lovely easy venue to fish. Just over the sand dunes over there is Brean Holiday Village, and there's loads of caravan parks there, so you can bring your rods down on holiday. It's a sort of a high water mark, so you fish from 3 hours before high up to high, and then maybe an hour down. It's not really snaggy at all, and there's no crabs. And what there is out there is there's trillions of shrimps in the sand and the mud, and that's what the fish come in to feed on. You've got free bait on the beach, just bring a fork and dig some lug. It's the best bait for the beach really. Although you can fish baits as well if you want to fancy catching the conger and the ray that inhabit the beach as well. Although we found that the conger and the ray are quite happy to take worm baits as well. And in the winter months it can be a really good cod venue, although not so much recently in the last couple of years. What a glorious afternoon. It's a long way out, isn't it? Well, Chris has just had a pull down there on his rod, which has been out now for about 40 minutes, so it's a long way out. Still there? We love fishing in these conditions where even if a fish breathes on the rod tip you can see it. I'm going to have a look for it. You can see the sea here is permanently muddy, I think, for a better word. But the advantage of that is that you can catch fish in the daylight. You go to somewhere like Chesil where you've got absolutely gin clear water in the day. The fishing can be very difficult on a hot day like today, but in the Bristol Channel, when you've got muddy water like this with no visibility, the fish aren't afraid to come in quite close, which is obviously a great advantage. Now, where's this fish got to? It's getting there. And it's moving left as it comes in, so it's a swimmer. So, probably a bass, I would think. Yeah, he's going well left. Be careful, he's going to go over his other line. Oh, I just saw a swirl there, and again. Oh God, I've just got a footful of water there, not paying attention. Here it comes. Come on, fishy. Oh, he didn't want to come in. Well, it's a thornback. Well, I'm surprised at that. I thought that was a bass. And see, that just took pure lug, that fish. I was convinced that was a bass. I've got the rod. Yeah, it's a nice fish. It was swimming though, it was going against the tide when it got close in there. I just still thought it was a bass.
Well done, Chris. Yeah, just there. That's a lovely sight, isn't it? Oh well, there's fish out there. Yep. It's just coming in at a lovely pace tonight, the sea, isn't it? Oh right, good. There shouldn't be any weed out there today. Well, we'll find out in a minute. You got the other line? I don't think you have. I don't think you have, Chris. He thinks he's caught his other line, but I'm not so sure about that. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, he might have done. Definitely a fish out there, you can just see it there. You want to get another wet feet? What have we got here? Little schoolie. Hang on, Chris. Yeah, he's caught his other line a bit there. Okay. Yeah, it's a bass, yeah. Well, Chris is certainly showing me how to do it this evening. There you go, he's had a thornback and a schoolie bass in the first hour. But there's still a good 2 hours of the tide to go, so I'm still hopeful that I won't get my arse completely kicked. Glorious weather. Oh dear, apologies about the squeaky reel. Definitely feels like I've got something on here. The line went quite tight. Back on the red line. I lost a load of line about a month ago and then just added on some different coloured line, and I know that when I get to the red line I've got about 150 yards left. Now this has been out for over an hour, but as I say, there's very little out there to take your bait really, other than a fish. Not really any crabs or anything. I guess the shrimps will peck at it, but they won't destroy it, so you can leave it out quite happily for a considerable time. Obviously with the lug the juices do go out of it over a period of time, but still an attractor. Yeah. No thornback, is it? Oh, it's weed, is it? No, just weed, is it? Oh, that's a fish, isn't it? Oh, lovely. My favourite. Yes, please. Well, that's 3 species. Just hooked in the lip. You just hooked in the lip. Perfect. Thank you. Goodbye. Well, that's 3 species. Not the sole we were expecting. But it's nice to have some sport. Lots of holiday makers in the sea now. Good job they didn't see that conger eel. Well, that was a lovely afternoon and evening's fishing. Unfortunately didn't get the sole we were after, but we've had a lovely time. Caught 3 different species, which is lovely, you know. A little beach like this, you never know what you're going to get, which is part of the fun, really. So yeah, look, nothing's touched that. I'm sure we'll be out again in the near future. So thanks for watching. Tight lines everyone, and see you soon.